Hey everybody, prepare your heart and your mind because you're about to hear the most accurate sounding acoustic guitar pickup I've ever heard. I literally had to double check that I wasn't getting the signals wrong comparing the microphone to this pickup. I am always interested in what the newest, latest, greatest, exciting acoustic guitar pickup, because I'm on a mission to make those things sound like them, just louder into a PA system. So, THEARD reached out and sent me this pickup. This is called the Swan. This is an integrated condenser mic. Now, listen, all of us, we all know somewhere in our spirit and our mind, we know that probably the best sounding technology to get a guitar out is a microphone, but microphones in guitars are always a bit squirrely. So this one takes it one step further. This is an actual condenser mic in a guitar that requires phantom power, and it all comes out with just one cord, and as long as the amp that you're going into has phantom power, you are ready to boogie. So here's me installing this guitar, and then I want to plug it in and hear the direct signal, and then I want to play it through a PA system or through an acoustic guitar amp, and then I'll come back at the end and I'll say what's good about this thing, what's bad about this thing, and if you're in the market, is this a viable option to make your acoustic guitar sound like itself, just louder. Thanks to THEARD for sending me this. These guys are awesome. Made in the Ukraine, really amazing and really exciting. So buckle in, let's get into it. is sponsored by THEARD, and they sent me this pickup. Now, they're not paying me, and I don't have an affiliate relationship, so they sent me a pickup. And so that's all the money that I'm ever going to get from this. But they sent it to me because I made a video a couple of years ago testing as many acoustic guitar pickups as I had at that time. And I ran through some Fishman stuff, lots of LR Bag stuff, some K&K, and I was on a mission then, and I still am on that mission to find cool pickups that sound like those guitars, just louder. So let's get into it. 3-question gear review. What's good about this thing? What's bad about this thing? And if you're in the market, is it worth it? So first, I'll just react to the tones that I've heard. It's a remarkably good sounding pickup for if you're recording at home, just plugged straight in. If there's no studio noise, if there's no chance of feedback, it's a really, really good sounding pickup. That's really exciting. So if for nothing else, then you have a cool acoustic guitar and you want to hear it, I think that is a particularly good thing. It is a microphone. And so a microphone in a PA system with you in a same room is always going to be whistly, and it will ring your bell. And so that's what happened to me with my big Bose PA system. Now, normally I played with that in front of a couple hundred people out big events. And, but you know, that is a thing that we, of course, saw coming. So let's talk about this pickup. There are 2 versions of this pickup. Number 1, there is the internal, which is it goes to an output jack. You install it like a forever installed pickup in a guitar. I prefer that way. The other one is the external, which you would have the cable. You'd have some long stretch of cable come out the front of the guitar. That makes it a problem for a whole bunch of things. I don't like the way that looks, and it also, when you're putting it in a gig bag or a case, you have to have that cable right up, so it could damage your guitar. That's just preferentially, I don't go with that one. Pricing on these. There's 2 versions, the internal and the external. The internal that I have is $159 right now on sale. Now that price is probably going to go up because they're still in kind of launch, get their feet under them mode, and that's good. So let's get into what's good about this pickup. It sounds really good. It's a particularly good sounding microphone if you just have a guitar on your own at your house, if you're recording into a computer. I like that. That's exciting. That's a good thing for me. The other thing that I like about it is that it has a good form factor. I like the matte black. I like the quality of the molding and how well it fits. The output jack is really nice, and it just fits in the guitar really well. It's a higher quality in pin, so that's good. It's good quality. So for me, at $159, it's particularly good. So sounds good, looks good, performs well. Let's talk about the things I don't like about this. Mounting was a bit tricky, so 2 things got me hung up on the install on this guitar. Number 1, and it would just depend on what kind of guitar you have, but the guild that I put this on, the top was thinner than the allowance for the set screws on the pickup to grab onto the sides of the sound hole. I didn't know that, and I over-tightened one of the screws, and it ended up stripping out a little bit. And so it's a black screw, then strips out and goes to a bright, shiny metal. And so that's on the bass side. So with that, I think that screw could probably be a little tougher material, would be a good thing. And then I think also I ended up having to shim that the pickup itself so that it had enough to squeeze on. So I used some thick double-sided tape. I only peeled one side of the double-sided tape to get it on the inside of the pickup, and then leave just the plastic on the outside of the double-sided tape on the top of the guitar. So those 2 things, I think not all, it needs to have more tolerance for how tight and how small it can actually clamp down, and then that screw needs to be made of tougher stuff. is that not all pickups have, or not all amplifiers have the ability to add 48 volts. Now most, like if you're playing into a PA system, basically every PA system would have phantom power at this point. But for me, I tried to use my smaller Bose S1 and it doesn't have phantom power. And so with that, it just doesn't work. So you would either need to have a preamp that adds that 48 volts and helps you tone, like shape your tone a bit, or you would have to be really specific about which speaker or PA system you play into. So this is probably a better sounding, I'll switch into my third, should you buy this thing. This is probably a better sounding pickup than most people have at this price point. At $159, it's probably a better sounding pickup than almost all of those options. The downside is that it is a little more tricky and nuanced. It probably could not be your like run and gun, you can't just be like jumping from bar gig to bar gig without some problems. And then the third thing is feedback. I mean, feedback will always be kind of an issue, but I think most of those things could be mitigated if you had a good preamp on the ground that helps you do some tone shaping. So all in, should you buy this thing? It's pretty unrivaled at $159. I also love supporting startups and new kind of companies. And so for me, when I hear about, this was made in Ukraine in the last couple years, and its ingenuity and it's figuring out a way to make their pickups available to everyone. One of the things they do is that, and you don't think about this too much, but you can use this pickup in a right-handed guitar or a left-handed guitar. And so because of the way that the mic is angled, most guitar gear is kind of locked into, if you're a lefty, you have to kind of use the left-handed version, which tends to be more expensive or at best harder to find. So I'm cheering for these guys. I like them. I'll put a link in the description down below. But overall, those are my thoughts on the NV Swan. So thanks for checking this out. I'm Jeremy. This is Guitar Hunter. And check out these guys if you are interested in a cool, different thought. They're coming at fixing this problem in a different way. Phantom power and an acoustic guitar pickup. What a weird world we live in.